how I connected with Dave Tate and became a sponsored athlete at EliteFTS. In 2009, I recall Dave posting about seeking new sponsors at EliteFTS. He was really growing his brand at this time in 2009. I was happy being with Inzer Advanced Designs, as John Inzer has always been good to me. And let me clarify this. I was with Inzer multiple times in my career, and Inzer was nothing but great for me. Both times I left was due to better business opportunities and just needing a change with my gear, a refreshed approach, and it was nothing personal. It was always business. And a note about Dave Tate, although he was retired from powerlifting, he still attended meets. I encountered him at big meets in the early 2000s, having been familiar with him through Westside Barbell. So I already had a little bit of rapport with him going to the Pro-Ams and the WPO finals and semifinals meets. So we'd already got a dialogue going. Obviously, I knew he sponsored some of the best and strongest powerlifters all over the world. I used to read his blogs religiously. Travis Mash. These are good dudes from North Carolina that I used to read about. Matt Winning, Chuck Vogelpohl. All these different people, Jeremy Frey, that I competed against, and I would read their training log to see what was going on. That's what we all did back when the internet was kind of in its infancy as far as like social media and powerlifting. We all went to EliteFTS.com. I recall Dave posting and seeking new sponsors. Now, I was happy with Inzer Advanced Designs at that time. He took great care of me. I got the gear I needed. I just hit a 2660 total for the second biggest total of all time at 275. I was happy with Inzer, but I knew a direction that I wanted to change with my business in the coming years. I was working as a full-time massage therapist, both at a spa and on my own, and doing some personal training and some online coaching at the time, but I knew that I wanted to take my business into more of a powerlifting, strength training centric direction. And when I saw him post about this, I was thinking, I reached out to Dave and we talked, and he felt like it would help my business if I wanted to go that route and be a strength coach or strength trainer and have more online visibility. That was one thing I didn't have with Inzer Advanced Designs. We ended up having a phone call, Dave Tate and I did, and we discussed everything, and we decided on a trial period. He would send me some metal gear, and I just hit that 2660 total, and I was chasing 2,700 pounds, and both Dave Hoff and I were right around that 2,700 pound mark, and besides that, there really wasn't anyone around besides the beginning Yarnbosch that had hit 2,700 plus at 275. So I really wanted to get that 2,700 pound number. I'd used metal gear in the past. Actually, I first bought metal gear going back to the early 2000s because I would see EliteFTS's metal gear advertisements in PL USA. I remember getting some metal gear briefs, some metal pro briefs. This is way back in the day, early 2000s, and I really liked them. I liked the different pieces of gear that I own and I had purchased from EliteFTS. So this was a good starting point. Although I didn't really want to change my gear, I figured this would be good for my business. I figured that it would be good for my brand going forward to get more exposure because EliteFTS was the hot spot for all things strength training and collegiate sports and strength and conditioning and powerlifting and all those things. Within 2 years of joining EliteFTS and using metal gear, I hit a total of 2,700 and then 2,730 at 275, being the second biggest total of all time, right behind the immortal Dave Hoff. I had a 2,570 at 242, so I had top two totals, one at 242 and one at 275. By the way, mentioning Dave Hoff, I don't think he gets enough credit for his longevity and what he's been able to do at that level, squatting in the 1,200 pound range for a decade plus, benching in the 900,000 pound range plus for over a decade straight, 13 years straight, is absolutely ridiculous. In my opinion, it's really overlooked that Dave Hoff doesn't get the credit he deserves because of the death of multi-ply lifting. It's dead. It's been dead for a number of years, and it really started dying heavily in 2009, but you can really see the death of it now, and I think people just don't really take the equipped lifting very seriously, as they should, in my opinion. Looking for the answer to your sleepless nights, sore muscles, and better overall well-being? If so, PowerX Strength CBD has you covered. All of our products are made of CBD isolate and have 0% THC, meaning there are no worries of failing a drug test or the worry of feeling high. With PowerX Strength CBD, we offer a wide range of products and payment options to ensure you have the option that best fits your needs. Don't just take it from me. All of our reviews and client testimonials on our site speak for themselves. You can even get 20% off your order by using code YT1306 at checkout. Go to powerxstrengthcbd.com to order now so you can get back to sleeping, recovering, lifting, feeling, and being better. After discussing my aspirations with Dave Tate, I transitioned from Inzer to EliteFTS, acknowledging I needed a sponsor that aligned with my goals, what I wanted to do in the industry, and it was one of the best decisions that I ever made. Thanks to Dave's mentorship, I achieved a personal best of 27 and 27:30, as I was telling you, marking two of my biggest totals, number 2 behind that immortal Dave Tate. My experience with EliteFTS significantly contributed to my growth as a coach, being around all these different great coaches on EliteFTS. Obviously, having access to Dave Tate was very key as well. I learned to run a training business while I connected with talented individuals and they shared their insights. At one point, I was training or coaching about 75% of all the sponsored powerlifters on EliteFTS in that 2010-11 range, from Josh McMillan to Jason Pegg to you name them. I was pretty much coaching them on EliteFTS. And it was something that I enjoyed doing. I loved coaching powerlifting. I was really getting into it at the time. Dave's genuine concern going back to 2012 really resonated with me as my back issues started to worsen. This is around 2012. My original back injury that you can read about in Gift of Injury right here started in 2009 when I fell on an obstacle course while I was trying to become a police officer. Dave spoke about my future in lifting, his genuine concern for my health and advice on balancing priorities. This impacted me profoundly, even in my newly married and somewhat naive state. Dave's influence shaped my journey in powerlifting and coaching. This conversation that I had, you can check out this video right here. We're going to overlay and give you a little bit of thoughts of Dave Tate telling me to treat my powerlifting like an NFL athlete does, giving the people around you to have time away from your obsessiveness with powerlifting and always talking about it, always chasing that next number. He put it to me like this, and it stayed with me forever.
What he said is, you're at the point now where you shouldn't be competing so much. And I'd already known that, but his reasoning was awesome. And what he said was, you need to look at yourself, what a pro football player does, and how his wife has to look at it too. He said that you need to pretty much look at it to where 4 months out of the year, you are locked in, you're training for a meet, you're grumpy, you're focused, etc., etc. Things go to the wayside. But the wife, girlfriend, significant other needs to have an out. They need to know that, okay, well, 8 months out of the year, it's not going to be like this. Because believe it or not, your wife may be totally dedicated to you, love powerlifting, love going to the meet, love handling you, which my wife does, but that still wears on her year after year after year. So what he told me was, you need to look at it and basically lay it out to her that 8 months out of the year, we're going to do the stuff you want to do, we're going to travel, we're going to do the things that we neglect during the 4 months, and then the 4 months are going to be dedicated to dialing in for the meet, etc., etc.
Dave really resonated with me about my genuine connections and mentorships and relationships with people, including and not forgetting my wife. I ended up with EliteFTS from 2009 to 2014. During these underground strength sessions, I learned so much about the strength gain. You don't learn by reading a book. You learn by doing. That's how I have my experience the last 21 years in the strength game. If you want to count the last 3 or 4 where I haven't been competing, it's by doing and working with people and training. These underground strength sessions had some of the biggest names in powerlifting. We all competed against each other, had a weekend where we trained. Chuck Vogelpohl, Jeremy Frey, Matt Kroc, Matt Winning, Adam Driggers, Clint Smith, Chad Walker, Chad Wesley Smith of Juggernaut, Zane Geeting, Josh McMillan, Joey Smith, and many more for weekends of extremely intense training sessions, Steve Goggins, and letting it all hang out. We maxed out and we pushed who was going to be the alpha that day. These are some of my probably best memories of powerlifting, going up to EliteFTS, cold winter day before the XPC in February, and all of us just letting it all hang out, squatting in the 11s, pulling in the 8s, benching in the 9s, as you can see here. It was so much freaking fun. Dave gave me some of my best legal advice that I ever had during this time. Dave was so much more than just a mentor as far as powerlifting and business, but he was a mentor to me as a man. I remember I had this situation where he gave me legal advice. Dave told me that there's no such thing as a slam dunk legal case. There can be things that happen due to a litany of exemptions, exceptions, technicalities. He's had experience in the court system. I didn't, and he opened my eyes to some things, and it actually helped me make some decisions as to not proceed ahead and end up settling out of court instead of suing him. So I think it was better for all parties involved that I got this advice from Dave Tate. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, like, subscribe, share, click the notifications because we drop videos twice a week. We also have a live stream every Friday where I answer your questions. Click below to see the latest video that we uploaded. Also, for our products, our CBD, our books that correspond with these videos, it's down in the description. For more information about all things Brian Carroll and Power Rack Strength, go to powerrackstrength.com. You can book a consult both virtually and in person with me. Enjoy your week, and thank you so much.